Scientists around the world agree that climate change is real. It is happening now, and it's caused by the burning of fossil fuels. Still, many myths about climate change are repeated, and public can be fooled. According to Covering Climate Now, most climate change myths have been perpetuated by fossil fuel companies, their political allies, and others with a vested interest in the status quo. Let's dive into 10 climate change myths that have been widely perpetuated for decades, and the facts that debunk them. Myth 1. Scientists do not agree about climate change. Fact. More than 99% of climate scientists agree that human activity is overheating the planet. Scientists overwhelmingly agree that burning oil, coal, and gas is overheating the planet. Myth 2. Climate change is a political hoax. Fact. The laws of physics don't care about political ideologies. Human-caused climate change is a scientific fact, as virtually every scientific institution on Earth has concluded. The scientific consensus is overwhelming that burning fossil fuels is dangerously overheating the planet. Myth 3. We can't possibly know that humans are causing climate change. Fact. We can, and we do. Global temperature and CO2 levels in the atmosphere have increased lockstep since humans began burning large amounts of coal and other fossil fuels during the Industrial Revolution, NASA concluded. Scientists conclude that human activity is what drives climate change. Myth 4. The climate is always changing. Today is no different. Fact. True, Earth's climate has changed before, but never as rapidly as now, thanks to 250 years of burning fossil fuels. Scientists agree that the climate has never changed this fast in human history, and these changes are the result of people burning fossil fuels, which seriously threatens human welfare. Myth 5. There's nothing we can do about climate change, so why bother? Fact. Scientists have repeatedly declared that humanity already has the tools and technologies to avoid its worst impacts, such as by limiting global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Scientists emphasize that we have the technologies and know-how needed to tackle this problem. Myth 6. We can't live without oil. Fact. Modern societies cannot quit oil overnight, but the plummeting costs and rapid expansion of solar, wind, and other renewable energy sources shows that we can leave fossil fuels behind if we choose. In many cases, solar and other renewable energy sources now cost less than fossil fuels. Myth 7. What about China? Other countries are worse. Fact. The U.S. has emitted more greenhouse gases than any other country in history. China recently overtook the U.S. as the top annual emitter. But what matters in the atmosphere is cumulative, not annual emissions, making the U.S. the most responsible for climate change. The U.S. is still the biggest climate polluter in history, followed by China. Myth 8. A temperature increase of 1.5 degrees C is no big deal. Fact. Global temperatures today are roughly 1.2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. That increase has already intensified the extreme weather seen around the world. Impacts will intensify the closer we get to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Myth 9. Humans, plants, and animals can adapt to climate change. Fact. Adaptation has been a hallmark of successful species for hundreds of millions of years. But there are strict limits on how quickly and to what extent people, plants, and animals can adapt. A report warned that 1 million animal and plant species are at risk of extinction, thanks to climate change and destruction of habitats. Myth 10. Nobody cares about climate change. Fact. People around the world are increasingly worried about climate change and want to know how to stop it. A survey in 2021 conducted across 16 countries found that 72% of people are somewhat or very concerned that climate change will harm them personally. More and more survey data indicate that most people do care about climate change and especially want to know how to fix it. A teenager said, "Football is a universal game and climate change is a universal problem. It has the power to connect, engage, educate, and inspire my generation to create a safer and greener future. Lesane Mutunke, Trees for Goals Movement founder. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned and subscribe this channel. Save the Earth.